Hey, this is the first time I ever recorded a video, and I wanted to make it special. Well, first of all, I'm here in my closet in my house. My wife doesn't know I'm putting together this video. I was kind of a little bit nervous, never done this before. But I'm very excited about the topic I'm going to be discussing today, having to do with together money grows. Together money grows. What do I mean by together money grows? Well, one of the things that happen to a lot of us as we embark in this journey of life is, how do we get along with others? How do we relate to others? Which is a huge part of having togetherness in our lives. Relational skills is a must for us to become successful in whatever endeavor we want to participate in. Relational skills when it comes to awareness of how do we, just having an awareness of how do we relate to others. How do we, why do we do the things we do? Why do we continue to behave the way we behave? Bringing awareness to that. That's the first step of building a sense of togetherness with others. Also, awareness of those expectations that we have that are not functional, dysfunctional expectations, things that we believe are true, we believe to be accurate, but in reality, when you test it and when you have tried it over and over again, you get the same outcome over and over again. So those expectations are not functional. We have to be aware of those as well in order for us to have a sense of togetherness, relate to others in a way that we can feel we're working as a team and we can get more accomplished. Number three, having better skills when it comes to being assertive. I mean, that was a huge thing for me. I thought that being a nice guy meant saying yes to most people, meaning I thought that being a good guy meant going along with just trying to please others. But I realized that at the end of the day, by doing that, we wind up feeling bad about ourselves, not trusting others, and not trusting our judgment. So assertive communication skills are a must for togetherness. Also, conflict resolution skills. I mean, learning the ability to be able to solve conflict, because conflict is going to happen to all of us. We are going to have conflict with our wives, friends, co-workers. How do we develop the ability to solve conflict? Not run away from it, not avoid it, but to actually understand that we have an opportunity here for growth and togetherness when we are able to overcome conflict. Management of self-care, that's a huge one when it comes to building a sense of togetherness with others. How do we take care of ourselves? Recognizing our needs, recognizing our need to rest, to eat well, to enjoy recreational activities, to be able to have hobbies, to really know how to understand yourself in a holistic way so that you can take care of yourself, and by doing that you have the energy and the power to pursue togetherness with others. Also, you need to create the ability to build intimacy and trust. Abilities are not things that we are born with, these are things that we develop. The abilities you develop as you practice them. So creating intimacy, it is an art, it is a ability that we can all develop, and that will serve very valuable to us in our marriages, in our friendships. Trust and intimacy. For example, confidentiality. For example, never manipulating, never using the relationship, never imposing your expectations and beliefs. Learning how to validate others, even when you don't agree with their perspective. So these are all skills that we need to develop for us to build a sense of togetherness. Now, together money grows. Let's talk about money real quick. Money is a huge tool that we have accessible to us, and we need to first identify what are our values and expectations that we have towards money, because it is a very powerful asset, resource, and if we don't know what are the values and expectations that we have towards money, then we can actually be working against ourselves by sabotaging our very own efforts or by not pursuing those things that are really going to bring the quality of life that we need and we deserve for us and for our families. So understanding what are your values and expectations. Also, what are those recurrent behaviors that we have when it comes to money? How do we end up, why do we end up behaving the same way? Why do we end up spending our money the same ways? Why don't we save money when we know we should? Why do we overspend at times when we know we shouldn't, but we do it anyway? So just understanding, assessing why do I behave the way I do when it comes to money. Also, what kind of relationship do I have with money? How do I use money in my relationships? How do I what kind of role does money have in the way I relate to myself? Do I use money as a way to cope? Do I spend money as a way to make myself feel more excited about life, have an enthusiasm, even if it's short-lived, but I have some enthusiasm about what money can bring me immediately? So what kind of role does money have when it comes to my relationship with myself? How do I deal with myself? How do I cope with money? Also, how do I use money as I relate to others? Do I use money as a way to give love, buying things and overspending, or just giving? And there's nothing wrong with giving as a way of expressing love, but in a balanced way. But what happens when we use it as our main way of communicating love and affection by spending money and giving money? What's going to happen is that we cannot have any money anymore. We don't have any more resources as we had before, so we're not able then to connect like we feel that we should. So that's an important part of assessing the role of money and how we relate to others. And then also how our decision making process. This is huge. I mean, how we make decisions with our money. Okay, are the decisions based on what people think we should do with our money, or what maybe society expects us to do with our money? The kind of cars we buy, the houses we buy, lifestyle that we try to keep. Are we doing it because it's really what we want to do, what we value, based on our principles and our values, or is it just because that's what's expected of us? Maybe someone in a position that you're in your corporation, or maybe in the society, the social group that you surround yourself with, maybe. But are you really doing it because it's really what's valuable, important to you and your family? So this is something that's huge when it comes to the money aspects of Together Money Grows. So we talked about togetherness, developing those skills. We talked about money, understanding the relationship that we have with money and how we relate to others with the use of our money. And then finally, what I want to just mention, then the last point in the Together Money Grows is goal setting. Because to grow means that we need to set goals. To grow means that we need to identify where we are now, and where do we want to be at, and how do I get to that destination. So goal setting is part of growing. Okay, so let's talk about goal setting. Number one, we need to develop another skill in goal setting, which is understand if my goals reflect my values. Again, going back to values. These goals that I want to attain, why do I want to obtain these goals? What am I shooting for? What am I willing to sacrifice? Do the things that I want to give up or sacrifice to in order for me to achieve this goal? Why is it important to me? Values, value-based goals. Identify what those are. Number two, understand goal setting process. Okay, and there's many resources out there that you can use, but have a good idea of these basic steps to setting goals and pursuing goals. Okay, so that's important. Number three, weekly accountability. We need to have some type of system where we could be accountable. A perfect situation would be a relationship with a coach, with a life coach that can hold you accountable, that can communicate with you, that can encourage you, that can be with you in those times that are tough, to continue to move forward and pursue your goals and your dreams. Assessing your goals. We need to assess our goals. Where am I in my process? Really, where am I? Many times we feel that we've done so much. We feel that we have worked so hard, but when we can assess what we've done, we can we can realize that in reality we have not done as much as we thought we did. So it puts everything in perspective. Reassessing allows us to know where we are in the journey, and it's an encouragement of how far we've gone and where else do we need to go to, and what is the goal that we need to pursue. Discipline and recognition. How do we find a way to discipline ourselves, not in a negative way, but to stay focused on doing those things that are uncomfortable, which we know we don't enjoy getting out of our comfort zone. We don't like change. We don't enjoy change for the most part, and we have to find a way to discipline ourselves to get ourselves uncomfortable enough and still move forward. I guess it's the definition of courage. It's not the absence of fear, but having the fear and then pushing forward anyways. That is what makes us courageous in the pursuit of our goals. Also, the recognition part also. I mean, how do we reward ourselves? Reward ourselves for the work that we're doing. Make sure that you do reward yourself in this process. Okay? And then finally, learning how to have a healthy balance between the goals that you are pursuing and those value-based responsibilities that you have with family, children, loved ones, careers, causes that you believe in. How do we keep a balance? It's all about balance. And the more I read, the more I learn, I realize that quality of life has to do with balance. Having balance in all the areas, keeping all those plates spinning at the same time. Okay. So as we wrap up tonight, just want to bring some thoughts to you, thoughts that have been very exciting to me as I think about the things that are important in our growth as human beings. And I want to encourage you to visit our website, www.integritylifeplan.com. And as we wrap up today, we're going to be able to touch up again on the 3 steps of together money grows. Together having to do with our relational skills, money having to do with our financial skills and our relationship with money, and the growth having to do with our ability to pursue our goals based on our purposes. I want to thank you for the time that you invested in listening to this video. It's been a pleasure to me, and I wish you the very best.